Artsword. What's on?
Welcome to Derbyshire Artsword, a podcast focusing on the Derbyshire art scene in association with Belper Arts Festival. This week's Artsword is sponsored by the Ritz Cinema Belper. To find out their latest screenings, visit www.ritz-belper.co.uk and stay tuned for Ritz Recommends with Ashley Franklin. If you'd like to sponsor a show or feature in one, please go to artsword.co.uk. We start at Derby Theatre with a new play called Leaving by Paddy Campbell. Leaving uses young people's own words to bring real voices to the stage. It will make you think about young people in care as you hear from people working within the system. These include staff in children's homes, MPs and policymakers. Book your seats at the studio at Derby Theatre on the 7th of April. Tickets are £10 from the Derby Theatre box office. Stand-up poet, armchair revolutionary and reincumbent rocker, Elvis McGonagall is the sole resident of the Graceland Caravan Park somewhere in the middle of nowhere, where he scribbles verses whilst drinking malt whiskey and listens to Johnny Cash. Elvis is a 2006 World Slam Champion, the compare of the notorious Blue Suede Sporran Club, and appears regularly on BBC Radio 4 and occasionally on the telly. His sitcom, Elvis McGonagall Takes a Look on the Bright Side, was recently broadcast on BBC Radio 4. You can see Elvis live at Wirksworth's Town Hall on the 7th of April. Tickets range from £5 to £13 from ticketsource.co.uk. Melbourne Operatic Society bring Gilbert and Sullivans' Patience to the Duchess Theatre, Long Eaton, from the 11th to the 14th of April. The opera is a satire on the aesthetic movement of the 1870s and 80s in England that emphasises aesthetic values over moral or social themes in literature, fine art, the decorative arts and interior design. Called art for art's sake, the movement valued its ideals of beauty above any pragmatic concerns. Although the output of poets, painters and designers was prolific, some argued that the movement's work was empty and self-indulgent. The movement was so popular and also so easy to ridicule as meaningless fad helped make Patience a big hit. Tickets are £11 and £12 and for children 16 and under admission is free when accompanied by an adult. Tickets are available from melbourneoperaticsociety.com and from the Duchess Theatre on Saturday mornings. And over to Wirksworth now, and his show is fun, funny, captivating, engaging, fascinating, fanciful, beautiful, enthralling, according to Captain of the Lost Waves website that is, and the jewels to be found in all of this organised mayhem are the beautiful songs and evident musicianship that grace the stage of the Captain's World. You can catch this original event at Wirksworth Town Hall on the 14th of April. Tickets are £10 and are available from Carsington and Hopton Primary School and Kirk Ighton Primary School. Belper Players' spring production is Billy Liar. A teenager in a North Country town, Billy Fisher weaves a world of his own out of his daydreams. He is an incredible liar, and to escape from his dull job as an undertaker's clerk and his dreary domestic background, he imagines himself in so many different situations that truth and lies become intermingled. The first production opened in the West End of London with Albert Finney in the title role. The three-act play was adapted for the stage by the novel's author Keith Waterhouse and his collaborators Willis Hall. Directed by Jane Wilton, who we catch up with later in the show, Billy Liar will be staged at the Strutt Centre, Derby Road, Belper from the 18th to the 21st of April. Tickets are from £8 to £10 and are available from ticketsource.co.uk. And finally, following a sellout tour, Killer Festival shows at Glastonbury and Leeds and praised by the likes of NME, Mixmag and The Guardian, Superhands is ready to provide you all with more than just a powerful sense of dread. Hans is back in the van and on the road with his all-new crew, the Peace Posse, bringing love, miracles and big catty beats to Derby this April. You can see Super Hands at the venue in Derby on Friday the 13th of April at 7:30pm. Tickets are £15.40 and for more information go to livemusicderby.co.uk.
Derbyshire Artsword. The film review.
This is Ritz Recommends, Ashley Franklin previewing this week's films at the Belper Ritz Cinema. Peter Rabbit is the Beatrix Potter classic given a contemporary treatment a la Paddington, with its mix of live action and animation. Also like Paddington, the Peter Rabbit tale has been given a modern makeover, with a not as cute a bunny as you'd expect. This one is audacious and swaggering, emphasised by the voicing of Peter by James Corden. Two well-known actresses, Margot Robbie and Daisy Ridley, provide the voices of Peter Rabbit's sisters. In this adaptation of the tale, Peter and his chums go head-to-head with Thomas, the young nephew of the late Mr. McGregor, played by Donald Gleeson, a city boy who inherits the farm and hates both animals and the countryside, so decides to sell up. Mind you, his head is turned by his attractive neighbour Bee, played by Rose Byrne, who happens to like animals.
Peter, are you sure you know what you're doing?
Never stopped me before.
Come on in! Wait, didn't you try to eat me? Show me your teeth. Do like a goat, like... It was you! I knew it! How are you? So good to see you.
Hello.
Run!
It looks like there's a new owner.
This guy? Who does he think he is? This is our land.
Hello, I'm Bee.
Thomas McGregor.
These gates are incredibly sturdy.
I just need to keep the wildlife out where they belong.
In London, we find vermin and we exterminate them.
What happens if we touch it?
We're about to find out.
No, Mrs. Tiggy-Winkle, stop!
Walk away!
This is our ancestors' land. It's time to get our garden back. We're gonna need everyone. Come on! Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, Benjamin.
Rabbits are perfect creatures. You'll grow to love them.
That was so classic. He was like...
Things are not going to end well for you.
No guts, no glory.
It's time to bring the fight to him.
London.
Would you like to have a hold? My two boys getting along perfectly.
Rabbit.
Thomas!
And that's what separates us from the French.
Our natural rabbit's pace should be able to keep up.
Oh.
Do you know what? That would never have worked.
Well, again, like Paddington, there's bundles of charm here, jokes for the grown-ups and for young and old alike, a whole lot of pratfalling and general slapstick. And what I've seen in the trailer and a few clips is a seamless blend of live action and animation, and the photorealism of the animation does appear very impressive. Peter Rabbit on All This Week. The 1517 to Paris, subtitled The True Story of a Terrorist, a Train and Three American Heroes, is a fascinating sounding film directed by Clint Eastwood, who's followed up Sully Miracle on the Hudson with another recent event which also captured the attention of the world, namely the attempted lone wolf attack on a Paris-bound train. And what makes it fascinating is that Eastwood has encouraged the three American heroes to play themselves. And according to The Hollywood Reporter, the three guys who have never acted before do so with great naturalness and without any self-consciousness, adding, "There are no false notes here." In a way, this makes this true story even more real and close, as we follow these guys through their lives before they come together on a Paris-bound train, which is where these ordinary men do something extraordinary. Like Sully, the film pivots around an incident that lasted only a few minutes. Sully, however, still managed to enthrall us over its 90 minutes and grip us when the big moment comes around. We'll see if Clint Eastwood has managed to weave further magic with this latest film of his, the 1517 to Paris.
On the island, more sports she would play. You could hear her on the boardwalk every day. Soap suds all around, the little bubbles on the ground. Rub-a-dub-a-dub in her little tub, all those tunes she found.
Coney Island Washboard by the Mills Brothers is a perfect choice for Woody Allen's latest film, Wonder Wheel, as it's all about four characters whose lives intertwine amid the hustle and bustle of the Coney Island amusement park of the 1950s. Kate Winslet is Ginny, a former actress working as a waitress in a clam house and in a loveless marriage with her boorish husband, played by Jim Belushi. Along comes his estranged daughter Caroline, played by Juno Temple, on the run from the mob. And observing all of this is lifeguard and aspiring playwright Mickey, played by Justin Timberlake. A love triangle ensues in a dark, brooding drama of passion, violence and betrayal. Not typical Woody Allen then, though we do have his beloved Coney Island setting, which, as one critic describes, comes to life with vivid colours, rickety theme park rides, grimy bars and smooth jazz. And amidst this golden cinematography, Kate Winslet delivers, as another critic assures us, her most powerful, emotionally resonant performance in more than a decade. That's Woody Allen's Wonder Wheel.
Coney Island washboard, Coney Island washboard round, Coney Island washboard round the lane.
The film Sweet Country comes to the screen this week on the back of special awards at two of the world's leading film festivals, Venice and Toronto. The fact that it also won the Audience Award at the Adelaide Film Festival is very significant, as this film, set in the late 1920s, unforgivably highlights racial tension and rough justice in Australia's bitterly divided Northern Territory. Described as a brutally powerful outback western, the story, loosely based on real events, sees Indigenous Australian farm worker Sam forced to shoot a drunken white landowner in self-defence. Sam and his wife Lizzie head out into the bush, pursued by dogged lawman Sergeant Fletcher, played by Brian Brown, and a posse that includes Sam's friend and employer, Fred Smith, played by Sam Neill.
I'm Harry March. Taken over North Creek Station.
I need to fix up my trap yard. I was wondering if you could help me.
Where'd you get your black stock from?
Oh, no. We're all equal here. We're all equal in the eyes of the Lord.
Come on.
No.
Shut up! Shut up! Come on, you little bastard! Ah! You run away, I'll shoot you for desertion.
You give me that boy! Now you give me that boy you're hiding! You let him out! You harboring a prisoner!
Harry March is dead. That black fella Sam killed him. You see it?
No. Sorry, sir. There's been a shooting.
We gonna catch this murder?
Yes, boss.
When?
Real soon, boss.
Sam's way smarter than we are. All these days, we never come within 2 miles of him. He's probably sitting out there now, looking at you, laughing.
I'm not going back. I know he's here somewhere. I'm gonna get him.
Sam, coming for you. It won't be long. It won't be long, Sam!
Why did you run, Mr. Kelly?
I shot a white fella.
Well, Sweet Country depicts the outback in all of its stunning beauty, but also its heat-soaked harshness. Daily Telegraph film critic Robbie Collin says the film has the sweeping poetry of classic John Ford, and although he admits it's a difficult watch, it has, according to Collin again, a power that makes the cinema shake. That's Sweet Country. This week's satellite screening is the Royal Opera House production of Verdi's Macbeth. We're told this is Verdi at his most theatrical, with the promise of an opera bristling with demonic energy. It's a rich production too, shot through with black, red and gold, as we follow the tragedy of Macbeth's dark ambitions for power. The Royal Opera House production of Macbeth this Wednesday at 7:15. Also at the Ritz, another week, in fact another 2 weeks, of Finding Your Feet, a warm, stirring British feel-good delight with tremendous performances from Imelda Staunton, Celia Imrie and Timothy Spall. This has been Ritz Recommends.
Derbyshire Artsword. Director's Corner.
Pull him round. That shirt's clean on.
I've bloody clean shirt before I've finished.
Well, what's he done?
I've clean shirt him round his bloody ear off. With his bloody fountain pens and his bloody suede shoes. Well, he don't go out tonight. I know where he gets it from. He stops at tonight and tomorrow night alone.
Look, can I just say something?
Don't bloody look me, lad. With your look this and your look that. And if you get them bloody books and rubbish or whatever it is, clear that sideboard cupboard and all before I chuck them out. And you bloody with them!
Why? What's wrong with them? Not hurting you, are they?
Not bloody hurting you, are they?
Well, I don't know what you've done now.
Dancing back to his grandma. Well, if that's what they learnt at grammar school, I'm glad I'm bloody uneducated. Anyway, I'll finish with
Hello, I'm Jane Wilton and I'm currently directing Billy Liar for Belper Players. How I got into directing? Well, I did quite a bit of acting and then I'm quite naturally a bossy person, so I thought this would be quite a nice role to take on. I love dissecting scripts and just putting my own little spin on things, so I thought, oh, I'll have a go. So somebody mentored me for the first thing I ever did, which I think was dancing at Lunasa. No, it wasn't, it was Humble Boy. So Darren, who was our chair at the time, mentored me and I got the bug and then I thought, yeah, I can go out on my own, this would be quite nice, and it's the only thing really I feel confident about doing. Well, I have done Dancing at Lunasa. I was really proud to direct The Diary of Anne Frank, which is about 3 years ago now. I've done One for the Road, Willie Russell play, lots and lots of independent bits. I wrote and directed my own play last year, I think it was now. So yeah, I'm getting a bit more confident and I've got a great team behind me, so that's what actually makes the directing quite easy and pleasurable. I believe in working from the heart, and somebody gave me a really good piece of advice once. I really wanted to do something in a play and they were like, well, the audience won't get that. And I quite like that they didn't get that and they would have to dig a bit deeper and think a bit deeper. And I think I'm quite into immersive theatre where hopefully as soon as you walk in the door and you pay your money to come in, it starts there and then, and I don't see why it should be them and us. As a director, I'd quite like the audience to be quite heavily involved, not in an interactive way necessarily, but in a, you know, we need to reach out to them and drag them in a little bit.
Feathers! Oh, Christ, she's off. She's bloody rambling.
She wants to burn feathers. Never mind salts. I can't be doing with salts and make me bilious. Oh, it's all right, Mother. We better get her upstairs. She's too hot in here anyway.
She'll be too bloody cold if she don't see that doctor.
What is Billy Liar about? Well, I remember watching it when I was a kid. My mum used to let me stay up late to watch it. And I was a little bit fascinated with the era, with the music of the era and things like that. Music's really important to me in a play. And it's about a guy, a young lad, who lives in a bit of a fantasy world, really, and his lies run away with him. He's a really likeable character, actually, but his fibs and his imagination run away with him. And I always think of it like, I said to Joe when he's playing Billy Liar, Joe Riley, and I said to him, do you know what? I said, it's like you've written this play and you've put all these people in it, your mum and your dad, and you've written the lot. So, yeah. What, did I actually answer what it's about? It's about his life. A little snippet of his life. So it's sort of close to the original. Obviously, you've got to have the essence of Billy and his family there and the claustrophobic situation that he finds himself in. He just wants to break out and imagines himself somewhere else all the time. I don't really abide by stage directions. Don't tell the author that, will you? I just do my own thing. And if one of the cast say to me, but it says here that I've got to move over to the sofa, I say, no, you don't. I'll tell you where to move, it's fine, honestly, it doesn't look right, you know, so we don't really follow the stage directions in it. It wouldn't be a great success without these lot behind me. They are absolutely awesome. They go with me, they trust me, they add bits now and again, and they always run it by me first, which is great.
It's not fair us, is this? It's us that has to put up with it.
Shall I get you a nice glass of water?
No, she doesn't want any water. She'll be all right in a minute.
It's happening too bloody regular, is this? And it's always on bloody Saturdays. We can't even sit down to his tea in peace.
Oh, don't go on at her. You'll only make her worse. Oh, just help me get her up to bed, will you?
Right, come on, then. Come on, let's be having you. Come on, out. Bloody hell. She's a ton bloody weight. Crash, you put some bloody weight on for some bugger that never eats out. I say you're putting weight on, lass.
It's on from the 18th to the 21st of April. So we start on the Wednesday night, which is the 18th. We also have a matinee on the Saturday, the day that it finishes. Sorry, I know. Got it. Going out, coming in. Yeah, so those are the dates. Yeah, 18th to the 21st of April, which isn't long really. We have a website, a Belper Players website. It's all on Facebook because I share it quite a lot. The tickets, I think, are £10 when the first night is a concessionary price, but I think that might be for under 18s. Yeah, not very good at the price thing, am I? Yeah. Sorry about that.
Derbyshire Artsword. Featured musician.
Hello, my name's Laurie Illingworth. I'm from Belper in Derbyshire. I'm a musician and singer. I'm primarily a pianist, so I take my keyboard around with me a lot, and I also sing and write original material. My sound, people ask me this all the time. It's a really difficult question to answer because there is no one answer to it. So I am influenced by a number of different people. I suppose that's a good way of going about it. Current artists such as the band Bon Iver, hugely influenced by Justin Vernon and the guys in Bon Iver. A chap called James Blake I'm a big fan of, Jack Garrett, Sampha. The genres are soul, I guess. There's quite a bit of soul in my voice, so I'm told. And I play quite a lot of intricate little piano melodies and rhythms as well. I play quite rhythmic piano, which is odd. It's somebody described it once to me like I'm playing a percussion instrument rather than actual piano with harmony, in that there's a lot of, there's a definite beat in it throughout the songs that I'm playing. The background of the music that I'm writing now starts a long time ago. I guess the first instrument I ever learned to play was the recorder when I was 6 years old. So my mum and dad, like a lot of people do I think, took me along to record lessons as a kid. That then developed 3 years later into playing the clarinet. So I started on a little B-flat clarinet and learned at school and then also at the local music centre. I then played the clarinet and the recorder, to be fair, until I was probably about 18, so a long time. And then a couple of years before I turned 18, I also picked up the piano as well. I remember going to an open mic night and seeing my friend Rosie, and she was singing a song and someone else was playing the piano for her, and I thought, do you know what, I'd love to give that a go. I'd love to get on a stage and perform in a different way that I have been doing for so many years, in orchestras and wind bands and things. So I started to teach myself the piano. I had a few lessons with a couple of different teachers, and it was more of a classical background, scales and arpeggios, and it didn't appeal to me all that much because I think I'd had an overload of it when I'd been learning the clarinet and the recorder and things. So I started to just basically teach myself, so learned from YouTube tutorials and then just basic chords, and that turned into different kind of chords. Then I went to university in 2013 to York St John University to study music, which was a bit of an off-the-cuff decision actually. I was always going to go and do English or French or PE or something like that. But halfway through my A-levels I thought, right, I'm gonna do a music AS level in my gap year. So I went off to Birmingham Conservatoire and studied for that. Then I went off to York St John University and studied music performance 3 years. And while I was there, I was basically just introduced to so many different kinds of musicians and different ways of talking about and thinking about and learning about and playing music. We were encouraged to be in loads of different kinds of ensembles. Choirs, percussion groups, community-based projects, and just to give new things a go. So I at the end of that, decided I was going to start playing or writing, giving it a go at writing some original music on the piano. And for me, obviously drawing on my influences of the people that I mentioned before, the artists that I was listening to. And probably about 8 months ago now, I wrote my first ever tune on a piano in York, in a chapel in York, and then I wrote a second one just after. And since then, I've moved back to Derbyshire, and I primarily gig in and around Derbyshire, but mainly Nottingham now. It's got a really vibrant music scene, and I've played support gigs, festivals, one-day festivals, charity festivals, gigs, just a lot of different kinds of gigs. And I'm currently ideally working towards a debut EP of 4 or 5 tracks, just me and the piano, and I'm currently in the process of just kind of gigging those in and around the area, and Derbyshire, Nottingham, and having a good time, and continuing to write as well, and just be open to collaborations with other people that I mean. The original music I've been writing, I feel like it comes as a group, so it comes as a little collection of songs. I didn't fancy rushing it out there. I thought I'd introduce people to what I'm all about first, but hopefully by the end of the year I'll have something ready for people to hear. Got that in my mind that I'm working towards putting on an EP are about a particular point in my life, mainly the last kind of 2 years. I'm not a happy performer. I wouldn't say, if you're here for a jingle, I probably wouldn't search my name anywhere. It's thoughtful music, it's reminiscent, nostalgic. It's me drawing on memories of people and current situations, and not issues as such, but situations with different people that I know, not just musically but just in my life generally, and then the way that I feel about those situations as well. So it's thoughtful music, reminiscent. I've got numerous social media platforms, so on Twitter I'm at @YesLaurie, on Facebook it's just Laurie Illingworth, on Instagram it's just Laurie Illingworth as well, and on those kind of places I'm always posting updates of upcoming gigs, because at the minute I'm basically a live performer, that's what I do, so I like to keep people updated with where and when I'm playing. And I also, on Instagram in particular, I kind of post little clips of what I'm working on and what I'm listening to and who I'm inspired by. Every now and then, just short little snippets of little tunes that I enjoy or that I'm writing. And then on YouTube I've got three covers. I mean, there are more than that, but 3 that I would want people to listen to. There's stuff from years ago that is a little embarrassing actually, so don't look at that please. I've got a couple of gigs coming up this Thursday actually. I've got a gig at the Angel Microbrewery on Thursday evening. It's a charity gig, so I think it's £10 a ticket, and half of the money will be going to. There are a number. It's not just me playing. There are a number of different artists from Nottingham music scene. Really great. I know a couple of them. Really talented musicians, mainly singer-songwriter style musicians, and I'll be playing alongside them. Half of the money will go towards cancer research charities, and half of it will go towards the Nottinghamshire Children's Bereavement Centre, which is 2 really great causes, obviously. So I'll be playing there. I'll then, once I finish my set, I won't be able to stick around unfortunately, because I'll be heading to Jam Cafe, which is just around the corner, also in Nottingham, and I'm around 10 o'clock-ish. I'll be playing at an event called Cover from Another Brother, which is, again, the focus is artists from the Nottingham music scene, and the idea is that you play a cover or 2 of your favourite Nottingham artists and then invite them along to watch. So I'm playing two covers of 2 artists, which I'm been disallowed from revealing until the day. So and then I've got a couple of gigs up in Newcastle next week. I've got gigs coming up in Leeds, Manchester, Derby, Belper and Nottingham. So plenty to go plenty to, if anybody was interested, plenty to kind of have a look on my social media streams and come and enjoy a set.
Derbyshire Artsword.
Derwent Valley on demand.